Welcome to my Dragoon tips guide for A5S. In this video we'll be going over the most optimal ways to use your cooldowns in this encounter to ensure you're hitting at least those 80th percentiles on FF logs. Other jobs which share similar cooldown timers to the Dragoon and abilities such as Internal Release, Blood for Blood or even Raging Strikes and Hawkseye are also welcome to use this as a reference for optimal cooldown usage and to synchronize them with your raid. Cooldown optimization is the biggest contributing factor in this encounter that affects your overall DPS. Many people in A5S get it wrong and miss out on additional applications on their shorter cooldowns such as Internal Release or Blood for Blood. If you look at this image as a comparison, for example, the difference between saving and not saving your cooldowns is huge. Both of the clear times are roughly the same, 10 seconds apart. Not saving my cooldowns, however, managed to get me an additional 2 internal releases. For reference, this video will be going over the prey skip method where your aim is to push rat dick to 90% before the prey hits. I will eventually make a video covering the boost skip method for those who want a faster clear time, of course once I've had more practice on that strat. Oh, and yes, I will be calling this boss Rat Dick from now on. One more thing, this video was recorded with an older clip of mine. I never managed to record my latest kill sadly, where the off-global cooldown timings were near perfect. A link to that FF log pass will be in the description box down below for you guys to analyse. So let's get started. Personally, I prefer spearheading into this encounter with a spine shatter dive. The aggro range of Rat Dick is uncomfortably large. Going any further than my starting position on top of these skulls will pull the boss. On top of that, you want to land your first strike as soon as your main tank does his or her first attack, which is usually a shield lob or a plunge, as usually it's a Pandan or Dark Knight main tank. You will then want to go into a full burst using your potions and off-global cooldowns in the order that I personally preach. I've covered this in my video and written guides for the Dragoon. Sadly, in this encounter my potion never went off for some reason, but just use it in the encounter, it will make sense later on down the road. At 90% or after the tank buster, Rat Dick will then turn small and will now enter the snake and bomb phase. The tank should be pulling Rat Dick to the B marker where he can pick up the glassy eyed Cobra. One more thing that a lot of people do is straight away jump onto the Cobra. However, doing this would mean that you drop both of your Chaos Thrust and Phlebotomized ticks on Rat Dick. What you actually want to do is continue applying your dots on Rat Dick before going onto the Cobra using your full thrust combo, as well as blasting your Gist Goggle onto both of them for a combined 400 potency skill. I also like to save all my cooldowns here, so that means Internal Release, Jump and Power Surge, and slowly start preparing for 2 Gist Goggles in a Blood for Blood and get ready for the phase change into Boost. Your Blood of the Dragon should also be used on cooldown or as close as you can get to using it on cooldown. This is very important for the next phase. As long as you're not being missing on any global cooldowns, you'll want to double weave both Internal Release and Blood for Blood before you're phlebotomized. You'll want to make sure to unload both of your Gist Goggles here, a Life Surged Full Thrust and a Power Surge Jump. Basically everything except for a Spine Shatter Dive. As long as you have optimal skill speed, your final hit going into the boost phase will be a Chaos Thrust, fully buffed by a Blood for Blood. On to phase 2. As soon as you leave bird mode, you want to head off with your heavy thrust and back into your standard global cooldown rotation. As long as you use Blood of the Dragon as soon as possible in the previous phase, your Blood of the Dragon should line up perfectly for the prey. Speaking of prey, remember I said you should save your Spine Shatter Dive? Well, it's because of the prey. You'll want to use Spine Shatter Dive as a gap closer so you have very little downtime. From here on, it's just a standard global cooldown rotation. Throughout this entire phase, it's important to keep your cooldowns on cooldown, even if it means you have to use them when Rat Dick is larger. It's a common misconception that saving your cooldowns when Rat Dick is smaller is the best route for the highest DPS possible. I save my Dragonfire dive for the Gobbledy Groper, which spawns in the corner. Your off tank may decide to bring the Gobbledy Groper into Rat Dick, in which case a Dragonfire dive will double as a 500 potency ability, or if your off tank keeps it in the corner, it will be a very handy gap closer coupled with elusive jump. If your off-tank brings Gobbledygroper onto the Ratdick, treat it like the glass-eyed cobra, keep your dots up on the main boss, and only attack the ad with your full thrust. Just make sure you're using all of your cooldowns as soon as they come up, with the exception of Blood for Blood. As I said earlier, this is an older video clip, so some of the stuff is slightly off, such as cooldown usage. In this clip, you can see me holding the internal release and all of my other buffs. That's not what you want to do. If we go back to this image, you can see at the 430 mark, I'm using an internal release at the same time in both log comparisons, which is phase 3. However, you'll notice I managed to fit in one additional internal release application at the 3-minute 30 mark. If you rewind this clip by around 30 seconds, you will see that I should have used it just before the smart bombs landed. As I said earlier, just make sure you're using all of your cooldowns as soon as they come up, with the exception of Blood for Blood. Just remember to use your Goggle before the next boost cast. On to phase 3. You'll want to get back into action as fast as you can, otherwise your timing for the praise will be completely off. All of your cooldowns should be available, including your potion. Now is your only chance to get another full complete opener and prepare yourself for the double prey. As long as you're not the first prey target, you should be able to get your Winning Thrust and Fang and Claw in before he charges at one of your allies. It's also very handy to keep Spine Shatter Dive in case you're the first prey target, as you can jump back to him instantly after the second prey and not have any downtime. At this point, it all depends on your group's kill speed. If you do not have the LB3 up for this part, like in this video, there's a good chance you'll be assigned to killing off the remaining Gobbledygroper before it kills off your entire group. It's why, once again, your gap closers such as Spine Shatter Dive, Elusive Jump and Dragonfire Dive are all handy. This phase is extremely good for those of you DPS scumbags who want to pad a lot of DPS because of the piggies plus Ratdick plus one Gobbledygroper will all be grouped up together. Dragonfire Dive and Goggle the entire pack and inflate that DPS. If you do decide to choose your DPS, just make sure to save your Blood for Blood and internal release as well as your Dragonfire Dive specifically for that pack. Afterwards, it's just a dummy burn. Unfortunately, because my group's kill speed is rather fast, we completely skip out on the final big ad, which wrecks your off tank and of course another ad phase. So I do not know how to optimize the cooldown specifically for that ad or anything else that happens later on in the fight. Hopefully this video has helped some of you Dragoons who are stuck wondering how to improve their DPS in this encounter. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and thought it was informative, or a thumbs down if you want to be a rebel. I don't judge. As always guys, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys next time.